Hey, how about you, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Live Recruiting Show. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lee, Senior Recruiting Editor for Auburn Live on 3. Today is Wednesday, August the 21st, 2024. For you, it is Tuesday evening, August 20th, 2024. For us, keep that in mind. Moving forward with any today's, tomorrow's, or yesterday's we might throw in there. We'll try our best to keep it as simple as possible for you, but that's obviously pretty difficult for us. We're going to get to some questions from the corner tonight. We're going to talk some more recruiting. We are going to do it all with aids of Mr. Cole Pinkston, Mr. Allen Head. How about you, fellas?
How about you, man? I'm glad to have you back, Alan. I'm glad.
I'm glad to be back, and in Keith Niebuhr fashion. How about you, everybody?
How about you, man? Hey, I've got I stole Brooks's gaming chair tonight. Well, I'm living high on the hog.
Oh, look at you, dude!
Big time. I got lumbar support, everything. I got whatever Cole had.
You got surround sound. You got some surround sound going.
Oh yeah.
Oh, bro, we just need Jeffrey to get that mic back.
Oh yeah.
Hey man, this is Jeffrey Lee. I don't know how to do this, but
nah, bro, you over there, talking smack to little kids playing Madden.
Expect some
right, my guys are running routes while you guys are out partying.
We should be touching down in 30 minutes.
Yep.
Although this is a dead period, a lot of things going on. Getting some trying to get some commitments on board before the season starts. Auburn is. We're going to address some of that and more in our questions from the corner. But before we do, I want to remind everybody, if you haven't already, get signed up for On to Victory. Make a difference. Make a difference for Auburn student athletes. Make a difference for Auburn football team, baseball team, basketball team, gymnastics, golf. Do it all. Make a real difference for student athletes, man. Join On to Victory Collective. You can do so for as little as $17 a month. That $17 a month, first and foremost, supports those student athletes. It supports Auburn athletics. And you also get some awesome perks. I love the perks they have there. They got monthly giveaways. They do that. VIP events, behind the scenes content. It's really cool. Cash back on your favorite brands. And then they have exclusive savings on the cool On to Victory gear. So head on over to ontovictory.co. That is ontovictory.co. Join today to support those athletes, your athletics, and those athletes. It's a big deal, man. For all you recruiting friends, you know how big NIL is. It is a question and a subject and a topic that we discuss daily in this business, and it is something that makes a big difference. We know it does. All right, fellas, let's don't waste any time. The weather's up here, and I'm not riding here. I'm a little under it.
Okay.
A little under it. Now, this is a great question. Cole, whatever you had, I have it now.
It sucks. It'll go away in about 24, maybe 48 hours. But
okay, good. Because 24 hours ago, dude, I was down. I was done. I had that man flu, and all day today, I was struggling, big dog. I was struggling.
You just God take me now. Just
I was popping vitamins. I was popping, whatever. Oh my God! Please don't screen grab that.
Oh, you know there'll be
done
a clip
deal. I shouldn't have said anything.
Trust me, BBP's been on it lately, brother.
Oh, yeah. Let me wipe my face. This is a good question. I touched on it in the hot board. Cole touched on it on the corner. It is a new name, has resurfaced. Not a new name, but it has resurfaced. Nate Marshall, the big dog, defensive tackle. Is he from Illinois?
Yes.
Yeah.
Illinois. Big dog, D tackle. Came to Auburn. Oak Park. Came to Auburn a couple of times back in the summer, including an official visit. And it came down to Auburn and Michigan. He committed to Michigan. And it looked like things had kind of simmered down now. But things are starting to heat back up. We've heard his name a couple of times in the past few weeks. Cole posted on the corner, potential visit could be in the works for early in the season. So let's see what JMK wants to know. JMK 205, Nate Marshall buzz. That started to reappear. In fact, fiction or too early to tell. We don't report fiction, JMK. But Cole, talk about what you posted on the corner.
Well, first of all, I just want to say I actually got your reference for once. The Saturday Night Live reference you just did there.
Hey,
how about you?
Simmer down now.
Simmer down. Nate Marshall, talked about him again today. I know you talked about him on your hot board. He is, look, with this staff, if they really like a guy, there's no reason to ever stop tracking them. Never stop, because they're not going to stop recruiting them. Nate Marshall's a great example of that. I think Vontrell King-Williams is a guy that is kind of like Durkin to an extent, where we don't hear a whole lot about the moves he's making, but he's making them, and he's doing things that he's getting things done. Put it that way. I think with Nate Marshall, he's a big reason. I think Marshall's comfortable at Auburn, but from what we heard the first go round, it was Vontrell King Williams that was such a big deal in this recruitment for Auburn. They're from the same area ish. I don't know how close it is. Where
Region.
That's fair. Don't forget you have a couple guys from Illinois on the team, Sam Jackson and Peyton Thorne. So that's always interesting when you have a recruitment like this that's out of your footprint. I wonder on this one if the Michigan stuff, you could call it, plays a factor in this. I don't know that. That's total speculation for me, but it wouldn't be a coincidence that the doors open back up for Auburn when all that's going on, right?
I think it's certainly a discussion point. Whether it's the ultimate factor or not, Cole, I have no idea. But how can you not be a little bit curious as far as wanting to know more about Michigan and what this entails for their future? Is there going to be any kind of probation? Is this a situation where the head coach might be suspended? What kind of is the future outlook there? So it definitely probably has created an opening for Auburn. I don't think Auburn's using that as leverage by any means in this situation.
Yeah, no.
It probably creates interest on Marshall to kind of cultivate other options for himself. Being that he knows VKW extremely well, they have a very good connection, as Jeffrey alluded to, from the same region. Auburn is a program on the rise, so there's a lot of appeal there. I think it's too early to say what it's going to be just yet, but I do believe 100% that Auburn is going to be in it with him to the very end. That's for sure.
If nothing else, at the very least, the stuff with Michigan is a red flag.
Yeah.
At the very least. Red flag. All right, Welders AU. There was an interview with Usman Kromah today on 24/7. I saw that, and it sounded like Auburn made a big move for him at Big Cat. Do y'all still see him as an FSU lean, or is he trending to Auburn? Mr. Allenhead, this is right up your alley.
Absolutely. We talked about it a little bit in the pre-show. I would say my information is it's 50-50 right now. My sourcing on this is a little bit more bullish than it has been probably about 3 weeks or so ago. And I don't know if it was Big Cat. I'm not exactly sure, but something has changed there within that recruitment and the dynamic has shifted. And I think Usman Kromah is really deciding between Auburn and FSU. It is a true 50-50 split, in my opinion. Give it another week or two, maybe I'll be favoring Auburn a little bit more in this situation. But right now, I truly do see it no longer as 45-55 Florida State. It is 50-50 down the line. And we'll see where this goes, especially if he is going to make a recruiting announcement here relatively soon with a commitment date.
Our friend Ben Woke had that story over at Dogs 24/7. I don't know the name of it, but Ben Woke. Gotta love me some Ben Woke. 3 Tech Taunt wants to know, are Herbert III Scroggins or Duke Johnson still regularly communicating with Auburn? Do you expect either of them to visit Auburn this fall, Cole?
Yeah, definitely communication still going. I expect both to visit at some point. I expected Duke Johnson to visit for a Big Cat. He didn't. So I think Alabama probably made a big move with him to keep him away from Auburn for the time being. I know he's going to continue to be a big target for Auburn. So they are going to have to keep fighting and keeping Auburn away there. But I don't know. I probably have dropped confidence a lot with Duke Johnson. Not that I ever had big confidence there for Auburn, but just knew that Auburn's recruiting him really hard. And that's still the case. Nothing's changed there. Same for Scroggins. I still think that Auburn might have a shot with Scroggins before it's over with.
He's the one who's going to be – you're not going to hear much about it, and then he'll just show up at like the A&M game or the Cal game and then immediately shoots back up the board.
Yeah.
Let's see. Who else we got? Oh, Quay. Not to be confused with Quan Bray. Quay. In future recruiting classes, do you think Hugh Freeze will go for the best quarterback on his board based on talent or based on fit into his offense, Alan?
Ooh. I mean, I think the way that they recruit that position, look at who they targeted, right? Husan Longstreet absolutely fits into his offense and is a hellacious talent, right? Like if you're talking about natural arm talent, he might be the most gifted prospect that Auburn was heavily recruiting. I mean, he can really spin it. Juju Lewis, different kind of a fit, but a fit all the same, right? I mean, Hugh Freeze has had some prolific passers within his, within his Ole Miss offenses as well as Liberty. Obviously, Deuce Knight is a phenomenal athlete who also has a talent. That question's hard, man.
I almost want to say, Alan, he's going to build his board for guys who have talent and are a great fit to his offense.
Right. I don't think they're mutually like. I don't think there's
Right.
one or the other. Right. Like
Right.
you're building that in mind with, hey, this is what really will make our offense go. Right. This is what will accentuate the facets of the offense we think can take it to a different gear. And so probably a quarterback that has some level of mobility will always be a factor within a Hugh Freeze type offense. Somebody that excels in an RPO type scheme. But again, I'm with you, Jeffrey. You're picking a guy whose skill set translates into it, but also is the best prospect on the board. They go hand in hand.
So I definitely agree with that. I do think that when you get to so when you made your board, I guess. So when Auburn sat down and they had Longstreet, they had Lewis, they had KJ Lacey, they had Deuce Knight.
Right.
Then when it came down to it, they go, all right. Honestly, KJ Lacey might be the best fit for the RPO system, but Deuce Knight, like his talent ceiling just goes and goes. Like there's no real ceiling. So do we go for the guy that's more of a natural fit, or do we go for the guy that could keep getting better and better? And it's obvious they, put the heat on Knight when they had those decisions. So if that's the case, and not that Knight doesn't fit the offense, but Lacey's more of a fit, in my opinion.
I think you could be right on that, and that Knight and maybe Longstreet have more pro potential or the higher ceiling of all four quarterbacks that they've recruited. I think those are the two that stand out in my mind as have the highest ceiling as far as what they could be on the next level.
Aiden04, if Auburn misses on Usman Kromah, do we go all in on Turbo Rogers, the Alabama commitment? Alabama just picked up A.K. Deer, Kylan Deer, on Tuesday. He is the number 2 running back in the country. So where does that leave Turbo Rogers and Auburn's position with him? I think he is at the top of tier 2.
Yes, I will agree with that. But I think Auburn is going to be a little bit patient on this second back. I think they're going to push for Usman. They're going to see where the dust settles on that situation. And maybe they're going to evaluate some guys before they decide to go all in on Turbo. I'm not exactly sure yet. I think there's an opportunity there because kids develop at a different rate. And sometimes there's always a running back that pops their senior year, right? Every year there's some kid that comes onto the scene that wasn't necessarily being discussed at this time in the recruiting cycle. So I'm interested to see. That's when I think they're going to be a little bit patient unless they get word that Turbo really wants out of that Alabama class, that he's trying to shop and looking for a different landing spot. Then I can see them pressing the gas there on that one. But again, I think all chips are in on Usman Kromah right now. And I don't think they're done with Shakai Mills-Knight. I think they're going to continue to chip away there as well.
Well, it's pretty obvious that they turned to the bigger back, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think, and man, I love DeJuan Morris.
I do too. I really do, Cole. I think he's super talented.
Gosh, he's talented. I mean, he's got it. I think he's going to be very good wherever he goes. And I think Auburn thinks that too, but once they got Alvin, they were like, all right, it would just be perfect if we could get a big back to pair with him. And Shakai Mills-Knight, Usman Kromah were the two they really honed in on. And I don't think they're going to stop. I don't think if you miss on Kromah right here and you've already, technically missed on Mills-Knight, who committed to Ole Miss, that you just stop with those guys. They're going to see it through, like you said, right?
Yeah. I mean, this staff has shown over and over again that just because somebody commits elsewhere does not mean they're going to relent in recruiting or automatically pivot. Now, they've done that with certain players, right? Because they've gotten the signal like, hey, I'm not interested regardless of what Auburn does. I truly appreciate you recruiting me, but I'm going in a different direction. I'm staying with my commitment. And at that point, what choice does Auburn have but to pivot? But for guys that they put ample amounts of time into, like Shakai Mills-Knight and Usman Kromah, and I don't think that Shakai Mills-Knight has told Auburn, hey, stop recruiting me. I think he just committed to Ole Miss, which is understandable. So I'm with you on that one, Cole. I think they'll stay on those guys to the very end. And then again, I think they're going to be patient, regardless of what happens with those two. I think they will be patient, kind of, do their due diligence, see if there's anybody that comes onto the scene that catches their eye. And maybe they'll turn on one of those, or maybe they'll just kind of stick with their board. And again, there is a chance that they decide to pivot immediately to Turbo and get him into the class. But I think he would have to make it very well known that he wants out of Alabama's situation and into a different class.
Completely agree. I think that's the first step.
Yeah.
I think that's the first step to Turbo Rogers and Auburn is him letting his feelings known, possibly even a public decommitment before Auburn really turns the heat up there. Hey, before we get on to our next question, man, get to talk about HelloFresh again, big dog. HelloFresh. Love me some HelloFresh. We all do. With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. It's fantastic. Skip trips to the grocery store, man. Count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. If you're like us, you got kids, you got jobs, you're running around. It's tough to plan those meals every night, man. You end up doing the DoorDash or going out to eat. Just let HelloFresh do it all for you, man. No more endless recipe searching or spending money on a whole jar of spices for only a pinch. This is fantastic. They give you everything you need. Plus included step-by-step directions. And so we know how it gets busy, man. Tailor everything to your schedule by adjusting your delivery date. You can skip a week if you get signed up. You can do a lot with HelloFresh. We love several meals. I've got several, man. The creamy Dijon dill chicken. Cole, I think you like that as well.
I do, yeah.
And they're giving away free breakfast to our Auburn Live subscribers or listeners.
Ooh.
Yes, sir. Must for free breakfast for life. For as long as your subscription is active, go to HelloFresh.com/free Auburn Live. All one word, free Auburn Live, all lowercase, free Auburn Live. One free breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life, son. Just by going to HelloFresh.com/free Auburn Live. Go check it out.
Tell you
All
what,
right,
Jeffrey,
yes, sir.
I made something tonight that was not HelloFresh, but I learned it from HelloFresh.
Oh, there you go.
It's like a blackened chicken Alfredo Marsala, something like that. I don't know.
Marcella.
Yeah. You put the chicken in the pan,
Mm-hmm.
brown it, cook it, and then whatever's left over from the chicken is what you use to make your Alfredo sauce.
Yes, sir.
Oh no, I think this was you, Cole. The crispy kicking cayenne chicken cutlets.
I like those. I like all the chicken ones they have. My favorite is still the ground pork and bell pepper enchiladas.
Oh,
Those are the bomb.
Yeah, those hit a spot, man, for sure.
Yeah, those are awesome.
Love some HelloFresh. Go check them out. Free Auburn Live, all lowercase, one word, to get your free breakfast for life. All right, question 6. Auburn Hooper. If we snag Deuce Knight, do you think we will get Caleb Cunningham on campus for a game? And what percentage for a flip would you give us if we can make that visit happen? If you get Deuce Knight, I don't think Deuce Knight has anything to do with Caleb Cunningham, whether or not he comes for a game. I think Caleb Cunningham's coming for a game.
For sure. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Regardless of whether Deuce Knight commits or not, Caleb Cunningham's going to find his way to Auburn. Now, I think your chances of a flip go up significantly with Deuce Knight in the class, right? Is there anybody that disagrees on that one?
No.
No, I completely agree.
I have a lot more to say about Caleb Cunningham on our premium show.
We're going to do that.
What a tease.
Oh,
well,
I meant to say that too. We're going to record an Auburn Live Plus show after this. We're going to have a lot more recruiting intel, a lot more recruiting scoop. This show comes out Wednesday morning. We're going to have that Auburn Live Plus recruiting insider show around noon Wednesday or before lunch sometime. So keep an eye out open for that. If you're not a member of the Auburn Live on 3 website and you're not a website guy, you just want to listen to some recruiting scoop and intel and some behind the scenes stuff, join Auburn Live Plus right there on our YouTube page, $2.99 a month. You'll get your money's worth in the first 30 minutes. Promise you. But percentage wise on Caleb Cunningham, yes.
Well, I know people like my dad who don't want to pay for all that stuff. Are like, man, would you just but we're going to go a lot more in depth on it. But what I can tell you now is I think he'll be at a game, and I think it'll be sooner than later.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Hamburglar.
Yes.
Is Malik Autry on track? Is Malik Autry one to track all the way to signing day if Napier survives this year? I just ain't buying it. I've said it many times before. I just ain't buying it.
Go ahead, Cole.
I think there's a There's something people are not thinking about with this Florida situation. First of all, don't forget Auburn was in this situation not too long ago.
Yes.
Well, look at Auburn now. Absolutely raking up on the recruiting trail. Okay. Just a year and a half later. So don't forget what Hugh Freeze did when he arrived at Auburn. He had about a month to do it. He flips Connor Liu, I believe. He flips Keldrick Falk and Kayan Lee. Okay. Those guys weren't going to leave where they were at. They were going to be fine. But new coach comes in, new buzz, new energy. Only took a month or a month and a half, however long he was there. I think he got there right after the Iron Bowl, right?
Yeah. I mean, literally like 2 days after.
There you go. So end of November into December, he got a month to work on those guys. They got it done.
Yep.
Don't forget, let's just say that Billy Napier does get fired at Florida this year. What if they what if they have a really good hire? And that new hire has time to do a little work. Well, I credit Billy Napier because he's laid the groundwork with guys like Malik Autry, TJ Dice. Absolutely. So I think you have to keep that in mind. Now, the way it stands today, I don't see it happening. But there's a lot still to play out in that situation.
I don't know, man. You get a new staff, now you have it starting from ground zero with relationships. I just don't buy it.
It would be tough. I think the part of this that my understanding is it's enticing is the NIL offer to both TJ Dice as well as Malik Autry. I think Florida is ready to put serious bank towards both of those players, but both have reservations about the longevity of Florida's coaching staff, and rightfully so, right?
Sure.
And I think there's a world that exists where Billy Napier makes it into next year, even if he goes 5-7, because the buyout for him is astronomical. I mean, you're talking about between a range of $24 to $30 million to get rid of him and moving into this new world of NIL, specifically if the house settlement, if everything's agreed upon and you're cutting out $21 million out of your salary every year or out of your budget to pay for NIL. Look, at some point in time, there's not an infinite amount of money. So people have to make concessions. Do I keep a coach or do I fire him and pay a buyout? And then I don't have necessarily the NIL money to pay what other schools are paying. So I think there's a possibility that cooler heads could prevail there and Billy could be maintained for one more year. But even in that kind of a situation, I don't give them much of a shot. But I do think that the NIL package that they're offering is what's kept them in the game. And it's what maintained the interest level with both TJ Dice and Malik Autry in Florida.
This is a good question from Carter Lovin Man. Carter Bammer Lovin Man. Who do you see committing first? Sam Turner, who's already committed. Tyler Lockhart, who already has committed and decommitted. Andrew Babalola. Cole?
Oh, man, that's tough. I think it's going to be all around the same time. That's why I don't know how to answer this question.
Do you think all next week?
Yeah, before August is over.
Okay.
Well,
wow.
Okay, all right. I'll say this: I don't think Sam Turner's going to do it before August is over.
I don't either. I think he's going to visit for a game and then it'll be done.
I agree. So it's between Lockhart and Babalola. Now, I'm taking Carter's question as committing, not necessarily just committing to Auburn, but coming off the board, I guess.
I agree.
I'd say Babalola for that.
I'm with you on that.
I can't predict Tyler Lockhart, so.
Right.
It's so hard to read that one, man. I mean, I know where our intel was 2 weeks ago, and it hasn't changed. Like, the intel's still there, but what's the holdup, right? And that's the hard part of trying to figure out what's exactly going on in that recruitment. And I don't think it's anything nefarious or anything like that. It's just, when's he going to make a public decision, right?
Yeah.
Carnell isn't Escalade. I'll throw my 2 cents in there. I'm with Cole on that. I think Babalola will pop first. To whom, I don't know. I think Sam Turner will be next. And dude, Lockhart could do it tonight while we're recording this show. I said that Sunday night. You never know.
No, I'm with you. That's what I don't understand. It's just he's too hard to predict. I mean, you just said it. The first commitment he made was like at 10:30 at night. You
It
were in
was.
bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was. That's for sure.
Yeah, I was putting in my prediction.
And I probably wouldn't have been. I was in a hotel room and had little man, so we know when y'all know how it is when little man goes to bed. It's time for you to go to bed in a hotel room.
No doubt, dude. When you're sharing the same room and you got to be quiet, and mom
And
starts giving you that side eye when you start typing too loud over there,
I
you
know.
know. Yep.
And you know what? I even like that. I remember that night. I was like, "Is there something I'm forgetting? Is there something that might happen? I'm going to bed earlier than usual." I woke up next morning and Tyler Lockhart had committed.
Well, I think I put Tyler Atkinson, and then the next day it was a story about Tyler Atkinson, and I called him Tyler Lockhart. I was like, dude, it's too early, late, too early. I'm too old. All right, Ward of Eagle John 10 to close it out, fellas. Rank these quarterbacks on current ability and projection from what you've seen. Husan Longstreet,
I think we missed
Juju
a
Lewis. Go back to 9, Zach.
Yeah, I think we missed 9.
I think we were talking too long. Carnell is the Escalade. Who is the recruit Auburn is the most likely to lose that is currently committed? Cole, who's your pick for?
It's tough. Law of averages says Auburn will lose one of these guys.
Sure.
All right. So based off of the level of commitment article I did a while back, I think the lowest guys I had were Donovan Starr, Ty Buster, and Bryce Diaz. I think I don't have it pulled up, but I think those were the 3 I was lowest on. Maybe Malik Autry was down there too, but I'm starting to feel better about that one since I wrote that. I'll go with Donovan Starr because he was one of those that kind of popped up, and I'm always wary of that.
Yeah. How do you feel about Tavares Dice, Cole? I don't know why. I've just got a funny feeling about him.
I feel pretty good about him, but I mean, I'm telling you, Florida has made him a massive priority.
Yes.
And that's why you really need to be wary of that. Same for Autry, but I don't know. I mean, it seems like his heart seems to be with Auburn, but some guys don't make their decisions off of their heart. They know
That's true.
probably better not to, if we're being honest. But yeah, the heart can be deceiving.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, Alan, do you have an opinion here?
I'm with you on TJ Dice, and it's not okay. I know I just talked about the NIL packages that are being put together and the prioritization that Florida has put on TJ Dice as well as Malik Autry. But if he flips, I think it's going to be more of a byproduct of Auburn goes out and lands like an Andrew Babalola, as well as is the young man from New Jersey, and he sees it as being a crowded room. That I think could push TJ into looking more at Florida because the playing time, and I think that's a huge thing to him.
It
is a huge piece of his recruitment becomes significantly more clear in a Florida class that I don't even think they have an O-line commit. Maybe they've got one, but you're the guy at that point. And so I can see where he would find that appealing. So I'm with you, Jeffrey, on that one. Maybe Antonio Coleman would be somebody because you just don't know, given his track record to this point. And I think Antonio's a good kid. I just think sometimes there are certain recruitments that are unpredictable, and I think his is a recruitment that is unpredictable.
I certainly would put him on the list.
Florida does not have an offensive line commitment.
And see,
Right.
that's what scares me the most about Dice is that they're going to pitch, do you want to be a member of a 5 to 7 group?
Right.
You want to be our big dog.
That's you put it in a much more streamlined version of what I was trying to say, Jeffrey. Is that you know what I mean? Do you want to be the one? Do you want to be the guy that we load up on that's going to carry? This offensive line, or do you want to be a part of a
or
5 to 7 man group?
Or does he look at it as, man, Florida don't have anybody? Auburn's got a pretty nice little offensive line class building here.
Yeah.
Does he look at it like that? I don't know. I mean, I think he thinks he's going to play regardless.
And he probably will. He's extremely talented.
I agree. He's number 2 on my list right now for that reason.
WDE John 10. Back to the quarterbacks, fellas. Y'all know this more than I do. Rank these cats on current ability and projection. Huson Longstreet, Juju Lewis, Mr. Deuce Knight.
Ooh, on current ability, I think Juju's probably one for me. Still, I think he's the most polished passer out of that group. Huson 2, and then Deuce 3 on long-term ability. I'm going to still go with Huson Longstreet, number 1, Deuce Knight 2, Juju Lewis 3. I think Deuce has significantly more upside than Juju long-term.
Yeah.
Cole, do you disagree?
Current ability, I agree. That's the lineup there. Lewis, Longstreet, Knight. Isn't that who you said, Alan?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And then projection. So ceiling, I guess. Deuce Knight's number 1 for me. And then I'd have Longstreet and then Lewis.
I can't argue with that.
I like it. I like it. That's good stuff. It's very good stuff. Reminder, folks, if we're about a couple of hours away from releasing our Auburn Live Plus Recruiting Insider Show. If you haven't already, get signed up. It comes with your Auburn Live on 3 subscription. But if you'd rather watch it on YouTube or if you'd whatever, join that Auburn Live Plus, $2.99 a month. And we will. We're going to do some how about yous though. Don't let me forget that. Join us on Auburn Live Plus, and you can watch it on YouTube as a members only show. You can be a member. All right, how about yous, fella? How about yous, fellas?
Yep. I've only got 3 this week.
Lay 'em on me.
I'm going to start with BBP in the Steve Wiltfong thread. Dude, he tore it up with some of those pictures, man. Yeah.
Oh, he did, didn't he?
Because read the title of this thread, the Jeffrey Lee face, letting the deuce sink in, Cole, with a nice sip of his drink.
Yeah.
And then, wait a second, that sounded oops, and then the Jeffrey Lee face. 100% on me on that one. Same thread. And it was, oh, man, I hate it when this happens. Come on, don't fail me now, internet. J minor NC.
Oh, is it JAY?
So it is JMINORNC.
All right, J minor North Carolina, maybe.
Yeah, J minor North Carolina, because he 100% got me. It was in the same show and got me with one eyebrow raised. So they were just killing it in that thread. And then I want to shout out friend of the show, JG Tate. He was shooting me some texts on Saturday night, said some really complimentary things about you guys, but Jay's just been a really good friend to me, man, and somebody that I thoroughly enjoy.
You know what? JG Tate and I had a good conversation the other day, and he gave me his blessing to say War Eagle.
Oh, how about that?
And the fans. My mentor, I consider him a mentor, especially when it comes to hosting shows. So with his blessing, if you War Eagle me, I will War Eagle you back.
How about that? I hear you, Jeffrey.
How about you to J Tate times 2?
Very nice.
All right, Cole Pinkston.
If you haven't yet, give me a times 2 for BBP.
Okay.
Yeah, just give him one. I think he's great. Reconciled.
All lowercase, isn't it?
No, capital R.
That's what I said.
And he knows why. Not going to say why. He knows why.
Okay.
Chop Rupert. Voice of reason. He's voice of reason for me this week. I always like to find one guy that's like voice of reason. Everybody's maybe sky's falling, doomsday, and then Chop Rupert comes in and he's like, look, guys, I mean, did y'all think that the O-line was going to be set in week 1? Did anybody think that was going to happen? Like, that doesn't really happen usually. So I like that. Auburn Hooper. Use my favorite gift today. It's become my new favorite gift. It's the Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yes.
All right, then. Keep your secrets. Kills me. I love it. And then Jalen Williams, super fan.
Yeah.
I like it. That's a good one.
all one word.
Yeah.
And J, W, S, and F are all capitalized. So Jalen Williams, super fan. He just encouraging comment.
Those are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've got a couple. I have how about you to Eric132? I can't remember why. But you Burt Watts fan 123.
He's one of my faves, man.
Yeah, he's good.
How about you, big dog? How about you to Slack Daddy?
Mm-hmm.
How about you to Griggy, who was watching our show from Denmark this past Sunday?
yeah.
I saw that.
How about
That's
you,
crazy.
big dog? Oh, how about you, big dog? That's Polish, they speak Polish in Denmark. Y'all didn't know I could speak Polish, did you?
That was good. Yeah.
Don't they speak Polish in Denmark?
Bro, I don't know.
Okay. Just pretend like they do. Yeah, man.
Yeah, there you go.
How about you to JC Mangina? For obvious reasons. Oh, me. And how about you to Uncle Tiger 22? And he or she knows why. How about you, big dog? Hopefully we'll talk more about you on future shows.
Yeah, I think so.
That's right down my lip. Oh, all right. Oh, you got something else, Alan?
Yeah, I got to give BBP one more
Okay.
because the thread that he put out about where were you when the kick six happened. I just thought that was a really cool thread. And Cole over there bringing his Alabama girlfriend to his dad's house. Bro, that ranked right up there with like, Ma, the meatloaf.
Never lived that down. Never lived it down.
Ew. All right, that's going to do it for this show. Again, we will have our Auburn Live Plus show out momentarily. If you haven't already, get signed up for that. One more time, HelloFresh. Don't forget about HelloFresh, folks. Go to HelloFresh.com/Auburn Live Free. Get that free breakfast for life as long as your subscription is active. And, of course, OTV, On to Victory, Auburn's NIL. Go make a difference in the athletics department in the student athlete's life. Go to ontovictory.co. That's ontovictory.co. Get signed up. Make a difference today. All right, we're going to wrap it up there. We will be back Sunday night with the call-in show. Hope to hear and see everybody there, man. For Cole Pinkston, for Alan Head, for Zach in the back, I'm Jeffrey Lee, man. Y'all stay out of that left lane. See ya.